Good evening, sessionistas and photogs, and welcome to Photogslife. My name is Calumberan, and I am the chief photographer and founder of Calumberan FZE. Visit our website, chriscalumberan.com, and follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/chriscalumberan. We are also available on YouTube and on Facebook. Please hit the subscribe button. Cheers. So, our very interesting topic for tonight, a little bit sensitive, although unfortunately some of us may have experienced this situation, but gratefully we are in UAE, we are in Dubai. Most of the people or most of the clients that we may have here are quite honest in what industry that we are working on. Most of the suppliers that I know gets paid, although not in time, but eventually gets paid. This topic is talking about non-payment. Have you experienced not being paid in a job that you have done, or being paid delayed in a project that you are in an earlier time that is promised? So let's talk about this. Let's start. You see, I may not be able to solve your problems if you may have a non-payment case. But what I can do is, what we can discuss is, how will we be able to avoid this type of ordeal, or give you some tips how you would be able to get your payment legal way. Awesome. So let's start. Oh my goodness, it brings to me a lot of memories when talking about this. I have this client for a long time. He became my stylist, and I actually got reminded of what he did to me because Facebook posted 6 years ago one of our first jobs that we have done together. I paid him on the spot. I paid him on the day of the event, actually in advance before the shoot, because he would basically need some equipment or some materials to create this set that I was planning. His name is Mr. Albert Gallo. I'm sure that you have dealt, if someone have dealt with him before. I mean, these are the kind of people that we try to avoid. You know, really sweet talker, but you know, he owes me at least more than 10,000 dirhams. I mean, he's in jail now, and I would not wish that to my enemy or such and such. But yeah, he does owe me more than 10,000 dirhams of work, around 15,000 dirhams if I'm not mistaken. But that's fine. I mean, it's not fine obviously, but I try to learn from that kind of lesson. Although it's not very often that I have, fortunately, there's another person who owes me some money that I have just to let it go, because there's no point in chasing this poor person. I mean, he's still in town, but you know, whenever I have any other dealings or references, I would not refer him to anyone. Even with my enemies, I would not refer this person. But you know, let's just put that behind. They are still on my accounting. They are still on my accounting software, and I'm trying to like let go, because I kind of like wanted to forget about these things. I think that they have already paid in karma what they have done to me. But the things in life, especially being an artist, being an entrepreneur, you don't need all these heavy baggage. Even if you're just a normal person, you just don't need this extra baggage that will be in your mind, that always, you know, makes you feel uncomfortable when you get reminded by these things. So what I do is, I just say, you know, lesson learned. You know, next time don't try to do this. So now what I'm going to do with you guys, I'm going to share you guys tips how to avoid not getting paid by a client. Disclaimer, this may not be applicable to freelancers, but slightly can be applied in a general way. This is my disclaimer. So basically what I encourage you guys is to have that freelance license before making a transaction, or start with something. Since you know your skills anyway, you would basically need to start with something. Having all this bureaucracy is a bit difficult, and it would really require a different type of skill set, having things legalized or formalized, shall I say, having your registration. But things nowadays, it's very easy. If I can do it, you guys can do it. It's very easy to register a company. It's very easy to have your own trade name out there, or try to have at least a freelance NOC or a freelancer permit that you would be able to work on a project, or maybe work with someone who is legal, who is formally registered, and try to get commissions out of them. That's one of the ways how we would be able to work in the industry here, especially in the UAE. So that's the disclaimer. Anyway, we got that settled away. So let's start from number one. Number one tip that I can give you guys in order for you to avoid not getting paid by a client. Number one is reputation. If you have a great reputation, or you are starting out and you still haven't got that name out there, or your reputation is out there, make sure when you do transactions, make sure that you keep your word for it. Keep your word. Stay true to your word. Keep your promises. Do not overpromise. Under-promise and over-deliver. Try to build your reputation from the ground up, because the community and the industry is a bit small. I mean, it's getting larger and larger because obviously of the social media. We see bits and pieces of spots that we have not seen before, I mean, in our community. But the community itself, there are different communities that are small communities. And if you are not good, or you have not kept your reputation in your own community, what more can you be if you go to the other communities? So in the industry, fortunately in the industry, in what I have done to my brand, my self-brand, the Chris Calumberan brand, is I made sure that I keep my promises. I make sure that I pay my suppliers. I make sure that I deliver the goods, or more quality value that I give to my clients. And having that reputation in a period of time, you would be able to reap your good name out there. That's why people will definitely, other people who are non-paying people or non-paying clients, possible clients, will even think twice to deal with you, because they know that they cannot screw you in money matters. They will not be able to screw you if you keep a good track record and a good reputation in your community and in the industry. Keeping a good reputation, it's not just having your trade license out there. Not just, it's more of having starting with a great brand, your name, working with good people, with professional people, having a great team, having a good taste in your photography, because there are some, oh my goodness, I would not lie, there are some hideous photographers out there, or artists out there, that they just want to have that display of, I don't know where is it coming from. To be honest with you guys, if you want to have a great reputation, try to look and learn from the masters. Try to look and learn from the people who are up there in the industry. I know that you can make mistakes and all, but at least have some taste, at least be respectful. I'm not being politically right, because most of the time having an edgy photograph can take you to places. But then again, that edginess has to represent your reputation and the criteria that other people might think of what is tasteful and what is not. So that's number one, reputation. Have a great reputation so that you will avoid non-paying clients. Number two, the second tip that I can share you guys to avoid non-paying clients is try to learn how to say no. Learning how to say no is a gem. Saying no is a really great skill to learn. You know why? Because when you build your reputation, once you have built your reputation up from down to up, you would know, or you will come across people, you will get to feel the wrong type of people, the wrong type of clients that you may work with. Once you keep yourself working and collaborating with other people, you will get a sense of how the industry is working, where the personal agendas of people who are surrounding you. Some can be fame, some can be financial, mostly financial, but some of them are to have power over you, which is a different topic. But then or just to advance to the society or the community that they may have in the expense of others. Those are the type of people that you may need to avoid. You will get to have that consistency. You will find people who are great to work with. You will learn people who are really not so good to work with. You know what I mean? I'm not saying avoid charity organizations, or I'm not saying not, because this is the reason why I'm doing this vlog, to return back to the community what I have earned, my experience, being grateful for the experience that I have, being grateful for the journey that I have traveled. And this is the reason why I do these things, to return back to the community. I urge you guys to be active in the community, but in our topic, since we are talking about how to avoid non-payment, try to think of this, because you would definitely learn how to say no. Because in a project, it's your reputation versus their reputation. If this person that who you are talking with or dealing with, first time that you work with, and they talk really sweet, you definitely have this gut feeling of overpromise. Don't work with people like that. Try to avoid. It's really up to you guys, because if you have that feeling of, okay, maybe he's a good guy, all right, maybe he's he makes sense or something, it's really up to you guys. In the end of the day, you're going to decide who you're going to work with or whomever. If you learn how to say no, then it will protect you. You will avoid the occasion of not getting paid or being promised and not getting what you asked for, what you have written. That's the thing. Learn to say no, and try to use your gut feeling that whomever dodgy client or a person that you are dealing with, try to use your gut feeling. But you will not be able to have that unless you have built your own reputation yourself. Tip number 3. Try to work on a contract. You may have like a very simple template contract, and the payment terms also. Try to learn what their payment terms are, especially first-time clients. Some of the clients that I know of is 30 days, which is the basic, 60 days, and 90 days. But most of the time, there are people who are 90 days who pay, especially agencies. They pay after 90 days. Most of the clients that I work with directly, they pay me as late as 30 days. But most of the time, they pay in cash. 50% up, 50% upon the delivery. It is very important for me to get 50% advance when I work with the team, when I work with my suppliers meaning to say if I have a makeup artist, another videographer, another photographer, an assistant, I would rather pay them first before I get paid myself, because what happens is I don't want to be chasing their money and my money altogether. I want them to be happy first, my suppliers, so that I can work with them again. This is a part of the tip number 1, building your own reputation. I would rather secure that payment and get that out of the way, so if I may have other assisting or assistants on that job, they can still help me with it, or I can just focus on my work. If the work is retouching, if the work is collating images, I can concentrate on that and follow up for my payment later on. So make sure that you may have a small contract. Like for example, a contract can bind, number 1 would be cancellation. How do you deal with cancellation? Do you deal with 24-hour cancellation? Do you deal with 12-hour cancellation? That's why do you ask for a 50% in advance, because if they cancel you within that 24, do they have a refund? Most of the time, I only had once an experience of cancellation on the day. I'm already on the location and they emailed me, but we basically need to drive to Abu Dhabi early morning. That's why I never had a chance to check my email, because we need to wake up early and then drive, and I don't have data that time. I don't have the means of checking an email. He could have just messaged me and said that okay, the job was canceled. So we went there to Abu Dhabi. They already paid the 50% because they paid the 50% because this job was pushing and pushing later and later. And then suddenly they paid me in advance. So that's my terms. I won't be able to refund that to you because you have agreed on my terms. You have agreed to work with me, so that was my terms. There's no refund for cancellation for that 50%. It only happened once though, but you are secured, because in the end of the day, the people that I brought, I need to pay them also. That's why it's very important to have your own template of estimates of your quotation, so that when you invoice, it's gonna be the same on the invoice after the job is done. If you send them an estimation, make sure that they sign it or they issue you an LPO. A purchase order, meaning to say that their company, the person you are talking with, their company has agreed to pay you this much after receiving or after the job is completed. Try to be clear. Try to be clear on the expectations. Meet up with the client prior to the shoot and try to clear out their expectations. What are they expecting from you? That's why on the contract it has to be mentioned. You have that standard contract below, and you do have another terms within the estimation, that you and your client will have that mutual understanding, that this is between us and this is what it takes so I can create this project. It's a big discussion that we may be able to have this in a different vlog. So that's number 3, contract and payment terms. So number 4, have an accounting software. For you to be able to follow up, you should have an accounting software that alert you after 30 days. The software will alert the client, okay, the 90 days are up. Is the payment ready for collection? I remember forgetting a client that hasn't been paid a long time ago. The client didn't pay eventually, so that is a sad moment. I'm sure I'm not blaming them, because I blame myself, because they say, oh, I paid already, blah blah blah, but you don't have the documents to provide them. and they don't have the documents to provide you. But then it's an awkward situation after 3 months of no communication. You would have a hard time following up with that payment because you don't have an accounting software to back you up with the documentation. That's why it's very important to have an accounting software. Working as an artist is not all about that. Unfortunately, you may need to have these life skills, the accounting skills, marketing skills, branding skills. Those things you need to work on so that you would be able to establish yourself as a great artist or a reputable artist in the industry. So, wow. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. This is a very, very important but yet very sensitive topic for us to be able to have an awareness, having to avoid non-paying clients. And if you may have any questions, we can discuss this on the live episode on Friday, tomorrow on Friday. And I would be very happy if you can join in the discussion about this. I wasn't able to be regular on the uploads because I am very busy with a project that we are working on. It's the Stealth series. I will share it with you by next week, I promise. And I'm sure that you guys will be very excited with that. And I am very blessed that I have my team of partners who I am working with right now. And yeah, thank you very much. The review will be soon. So there you go. There we have it. It's another session of Photogslife discussion lectures. Please subscribe in our channel. Please visit our website. If you may have any questions, please don't hesitate to write it down below on the comment section. I will answer them to you personally, answer it with you guys. We may have a live discussion on Friday. Please don't miss that. I will go live tomorrow, Friday, for you guys so that we can again discuss matters face to face. And that's it. Good night and have a great weekend. Cheers.